The scourge of fake news has met the carnage of Las Vegas. For weeks now, Facebook and Twitter, and to a lesser extent Google, have been on the defensive about how their platforms were exploited by Russian propagandists and neo-Nazis. The two social networks have been so laissez-faire toward both advertisers and purveyors of bogus stories that they've been drawn into Robert Mueller's investigation of the Trump team. The root of the problem is Facebook and Twitter won't acknowledge that they're hugely influential media companies and refuse to take all but the smallest steps to screen their content. Instead, they perpetuate the fiction that they're just neutral outfits relying on algorithms. After the massacre on the Las Vegas Strip, here's what people found on Facebook and Google. The shooter was an anti-Trump liberal who liked Rachel Maddow and MoveOn.org, that the FBI had already linked him to the Islamic State, and that mainstream news organizations were suppressing that he had recently converted to Islam. All of these gruesome revelations are entirely false, says Kevin Roose in a disturbing column in the New York Times. Here are the gory details. In Google's case, trolls from 4chan, a notoriously toxic online message board with a vocal far-right contingent, had spent the night scheming about how to pin the shooting on liberals. One of their discussion threads, in which they wrongly identified the gunman, was picked up by Google's Top Stories module, and spent hours at the top of the site's search results for that man's name. So another man was falsely accused of this heinous crime. In Facebook's case, an official safety check page for the Las Vegas shooting prominently displayed a post from a site called Alt-Right News. The post incorrectly identified the shooter, and described him as a Trump-hating liberal. In addition, some users saw a story on a trending topic page on Facebook for the shooting that was published by Sputnik, a news agency controlled by the Russian government. The story's headline claimed, incorrectly, that the FBI had linked the shooter with the Daesh terror group. Asked for comment, their spokesman blamed the algorithms. A key problem, Roose points out, is that Facebook and Google users would have seen these fake Vegas stories right next to legitimate reports from major news organizations. Facebook used to have news editors work on its trending topics list, but after accusations of bias, Mark Zuckerberg's company fired them and automated the process, which creates its own difficulties. No company of this scale could catch every instance of Moscow operatives or fake news profiteers trying to game the system. But Facebook, Google and Twitter barely try.